Dave, put your phone in the middle.
We wouldn't have to be. Can we start?
Are we live?
Let us begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, we live. We live.
We have a surprise for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Not yet.
Okay.
So, welcome to podcast numero 60? 6, ladies and gentlemen. Cup of Joe is here live once again on this nice and gloomy Monday evening. We want to thank our... Where?
Yeah.
Well, we're at LCC.
No, we're not.
But we are not in any way affiliated with Life Christian Church or any of the facilities
I'm
we
affiliated with City on the Hill.
But we would like to shout out our sponsors.
But you had to.
We would like to shout out our sponsors this week, which is Hilo and Kona Coffee Co. and Kona Brewing. If you would like to get a free drink or 50% off your drink and you are in Hilo or on Kona Island, the Big Island, feel free to say you listen to the LCC podcast and you will get 50% off or a free drink.
Cup of Joe podcast.
Cup of Joe podcast. We are not affiliated with LCC.
Can I actually mention the real sponsor? Jessica Borshkevich, $10.
You're lying.
Woo!
Holy crap.
What?
I don't know what we'll
Have
spend
any
it
of us
on.
put in
But
$10?
folks,
And this was a
please
pledge.
take example from our young lady friend Jessica.
Yeah, she pledged $10. She didn't give it.
So is she expecting to be on the podcast soon, or is this just
Well, I mentioned her name, and that was the deal.
nice?
I don't think we can let her be on the podcast because
Absolutely, we can.
eventually, but not because she gives, because then everyone
No, 'cause
everybody's
she's
going to
a
want to
pretty
be on
blonde.
here. Okay. Another sponsor is the United States government, and we will have Dave come sing the national anthem for our sponsor. Hurry, please grab a mic.
Singing like Fergie.
Pull it up to myself.
You're on.
Can you guys all sing along though?
Can you please go? We
Okay,
don't
you have
have
to stand
time.
up and touch your hearts.
I'll kneel.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed
Faster.
at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the
out of
bombs
time, let's go.
bursting in air.
Okay, last one. Last
Oh
go,
gosh.
Gave proof to the
Oh, say does that
our
star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free
and the
of the brave.
Thank you, David, very much. We appreciate it. And once again, thank you to our
Like a solid
sponsors.
10 minutes.
So, fellas, we got a lot of current events to cover today. And first on
yes,
the
sir.
list is Vic at church, our brethren, Viktor Prokhor,
Not Semailovich.
not Semenovich, the pastor, and not the other guy.
one.
The sixth one was live with us on Sunday morning at church. We'd
And
like
is
to
here with us
welcome our
today.
first official guest,
It's good to
Victor.
be here.
Can we get a round of applause, please?
Where you come from, Victor?
Flew in
Where do you live
from
now?
Hilo, Hawaii.
Oh,
Why?
Came in for a wedding, and then we decided to stay until Thanksgiving, make a nice little trip out of it.
Nice.
Took the kids, brought the wife, took some time off.
But the real reason is because you wanted to be on the podcast, right?
The real reason is because I wanted to be on the podcast. I got invited last week, and I booked my tickets right then and there. Took leave at
Told
work.
the wife the day before.
Everybody said it was okay, so it was
Whose wedding?
Alina's. Alina Kondratyuk. Well, not Kondratyuk anymore. I don't know what her last name is
away
now.
for Bo.
That's Bo's.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Yeah. Number 20.
Big loss. Big loss. I've mourned it. I'm over it now.
Okay, there are
Good
plenty
to
of
go.
fish in
On to the
sea.
next.
There are plenty of fish in the sea, especially for Bo.
Not, Vic.
The fish disagree.
You need to look
Cop
for
at
bigger
church.
fish.
Cop at church. Cop at church. Who saw the cop at
I
church?
saw the
I
cop
saw
at
him.
church.
I actually came up to him.
Really? What'd
yeah,
you say?
I asked him. I was gonna ask him if he, if somebody offered him a headset for translation, but he already had one. And I was like, oh, never mind. I was just coming up to you to ask you.
Oh. The reason
that's-
I wanted to come up to him too and say, "Hey, bro, it's all taken care of," and pretend like I had a gun in my thing.
Oh, jeez.
Say I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it
What
down.
I
over
You
wanted
here."
would have
to
made
do-
another like church shooting.
I wanted to go up there and pay him off because he was about to see a bunch of minors drinking
Why do you guys
wine.
think he was here?
Because he wanted to catch a bunch of minors drinking wine, I think.
I think
No,
he's-
isn't that like a religious? You can't do anything about that. That's like
Yeah, we
under
talked
religious
about
privilege.
this in our text, I think.
Yeah, we did.
But why?
There's religious exemptions for alcohol use.
How much can you drink religiously?
I don't know.
I'm guessing those little shot cups are.
Oh. We should push for legislature
We should push him
to
more.
increase that volume.
I have my own theory on why he was here.
Wait, why did you? You're not a minor.
Why? What is your own theory?
When I was thinking about, the more I thought about it, the more I thought like maybe he was about the like synagogue shooting last week or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that could have been it, and then also I think it could have been either like it could have been just him off duty, just rolling
Well,
up, kind of trying
He
to.
followed Kirill into
do
church,
church?
actually.
He did.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
He was looking for an M3.
Breaking news. Thug Life got followed, but
He was looking for an M3 with squeaky
good
brakes.
thing Kirill had repented already.
No, there was
Speaking of Kirill and breaking,
Oh,
What happened?
Here we go
that's
again.
bad.
What happened?
Here we go again.
See, I'm not current. I don't know what happened.
Speaking of
Kirill breaking. Let's just say Kirill used to date.
Oh, so he's not no
Yeah.
more. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's on the market.
There's
After,
another fish
after
bowl.
this podcast, he's literally gonna have like 10 new Snapchat requests, 10
Drop
new
it-
followers on the gram. You're
really?
welcome, Kirill.
I'm on the market.
So Vic is gone too, our PR guy. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't. If we do have any name drops or any
right.
slang terms dropped, please forgive us. We don't have Victor to police us today.
That would be gosh darn okay if you do, though.
Dag nabbit.
So, also, what do you think that he could have been here because he was looking out for like radical preaching?
No, I think that's
What?
I don't know. There's like
Against
against,
Oh, you
like,
think like
I don't- I can't-
government and like stuff.
Oh.
like
But
that.
can they?
You think that's
can
actually
they
a
shut
thing?
that down? They can't shut that
They
down.
can't shut
Yeah.
that down, but like just having an
Especially in the
eye,
church.
eye
I
out
think
for
they
it.
can only,
Like
like,
the more
shut-
I thought about it, the more like it was just like most likely he just came was like on duty over here, like didn't
The-
have nothing to do. He rolled
well, we
up, but like I'm thinking maybe it could have been.
Mark
something.
texted his dad and asked. He's like, "Why is there police in the sanctuary?" And his dad said he wants to take part in communion.
Oh really?
That's so cool.
But he left before communion.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Maybe
He left.
we've got a waiver wire pickup drop. Yo, who you got?
Doug Martin. Bro, you're 4 or 5 weeks too late.
What leagues are you
Okay.
playing in that starting running backs
We
are?
have Kevin Mitchko here with us.
I was kidding. It's Duke Johnson, the new offensive coordinator. It's gonna do work.
Can you actually name a waiver wire? Because Duke Johnson's been drafted and stayed on the team.
All right, fine. Kenyon Drake.
That was a third-round draft.
Thank you very much. Our C Leaguer paid tribute to our podcast.
Oh, man.
Daily tribute. Weekly tribute.
Anyway, back to that thing.
No.
He left actually before communion.
Yeah, he left before communion. He dug out.
Dang. So maybe
Nepokayevs. It's okay. We'll pray for him.
he was standing the whole time.
Yeah, he
Right.
was standing in the back. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't sit down, like just have his stuff right there.
Like the front row.
stuff hanging out.
We should have escorted him to the front. Brati them. Come in. Come into pastor.
I invited my coworker to church.
Altar call for the cop, like personal.
There's a man.
Is there a police officer in here?
Somebody came in here with a gun today.
Carol stands up. Man.
I bet Boggy would cry.
Oh my god.
Yo, so I don't. Oh, about Boggy. Do you guys remember when we had a preacher that I think someone was saying some guy's gonna get a raise? So Roman Bros low-key gave Boggy a raise. I don't know when he's gonna realize. Maybe he hasn't realized. I don't know when he's gonna realize.
We had a
but maybe
preacher that
I'll
said someone's
update
getting
you.
a raise.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
dude.
said
When did
many
you give him a
blessings
raise?
Who
are
was
gonna
this?
run. Last week, huh?
Not last week. Like
No, I gave him a raise last week.
No,
but
who
this,
was
this
the
happened
preacher?
like a couple
Who was
weeks
the
ago.
preacher?
When does he need his paycheck?
Well, he got a paycheck.
Dude, I don't
You
know,
never
but I
noticed?
He
remember
didn't
telling
notice. Or
Roman.
maybe he noticed, but he was like hush because he didn't want to tell me I paid him more.
Oh, yeah, that's
There's that.
probably it.
No,
Hey,
Boggy would tell
I
me.
heard Boggy stepping it up though.
He is stepping it. No, he's stepped it up. Wakes up on time when I wake him up.
Wakes up on time, stepping it up. Yeah, shows up when he's supposed to be there. Really good stuff done.
He's been coming to work on time. I had to give him a raise, you know.
Irons his shirts.
Gets
brushes
up
his
when I
teeth.
shake him out of bed. You know, no, he's been doing well.
Puts gas in his car. Really? It's really solid. Change a lot.
If only Dave could change a lot and put gas in his car. Hey Dave, how many
Dude,
times?
how many times
Low
have I
blow.
picked? How many times have I showed up to your car, your old Nissan Altima, to fill it up with gas when we were going to college?
About probably 3, not less.
Easily.
You guys
3
remember
times.
when we
Dude.
ran out of gas in Miami or in Florida?
Who's driving? Probably Roman.
I got.
Heck no. I'm good with gas when my gas meter
Yeah,
works.
it was probably Roman.
Well, how was it? You?
It was Bo.
I
I remember
it
driving
was-
with the cop, riding with the
Oh,
cop.
that
We're
cop
filling
was
up.
cool.
She was cool. Yeah.
who I rode with the cop. Did
Me and you, I guess.
Oh, I guess.
You know,
Did you stay?
Ooh, for what?
With the cop,
I don't
or no, with the
remember.
car with the Jeep.
And
Do you remember riding
I
with the
don't-
back
I
with the
remember
cop?
the cop. I don't remember who went with who.
Do you remember going to the gas station with the cop? Because it was like a sketchy gas
I
station.
remember sitting in the back
I
with the
think-
cop
Same.
with you, I guess. Yeah, there was like a big rainstorm, and then you were driving home, and then I took over, and I didn't realize what was happening, and we kind of ran out of the gas on.
You know what's funny when we were traveling? Not funny, but interesting when we were traveling. So Bo, Vic, and I went on a road trip about 4 years ago.
Hashtag RoboVic Chronicles.
Yeah, check out RoboVic Chronicles on Insta. Hashtag
Dude, is
RoboVic
Cherokee 93 still
Oh.
live on Instagram?
Chronicles. Probably.
Yeah,
But yeah,
What is it, 93, 97?
hold
I
on.
don't know. Some
99.
what was interesting about that road trip is everywhere we went, we saw the stereotypes that you get from those areas. Like Florida, you had the Puerto Rican, like mixed girl. Like that was the cop. She was not.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Puerto
She's
Rico
like-
was New York.
It is New
Cubans
York.
were Miami.
Cuban. She's like Cuban, dark lady girl. And it's like that exact thing. When you went to New York, or when I was in New York, you see a bunch of them Italians. You see a bunch of like kind
Like
of
the
ghetto people there.
stereotypical, like
Yeah.
a mobster Italians, hairy
Yes.
knuckles, gold chains. Like, no, for real.
I thought we got that. Anyway, what about Savannah, Georgia? What was the
Savannah was
stereotype fulfilled there?
Country and happy-go-lucky guys.
Country roads.
Our
That
taxi
was a
driver
really
dope.
cool place, dude.
Underrated Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
I think it's rated
Very
fine.
helpful people.
They'll tell you where to
Very
go.
helpful, intoxicated people on the street. No, the dive restaurants were really cool. You'd go down the boardwalk, dive bars. You go down the boardwalk, and every restaurant has live music playing, and it's just
That's Nashville too. Nashville was so legit.
I never went.
like
we
that's
never-
different. Like
you're the only one that went there, yeah?
I guess.
To Nashville. Because we did. I flew out from Fort Lauderdale. You flew out from Miami before the guys flew in.
Okay, on to next topic. Elections tomorrow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Hashtag
I live in
outvoted.
Hawaii, so I
Don't
can't
forget to
put
vote,
in-
guys. If
Did
you
you
haven't
vote,
heard
Vic?
yet, don't forget to vote.
No.
It's actually.
Is
Hey,
it legal?
let's shame Victor.
Is it legal for me to vote if I'm not a resident here? It's not legal for me to vote.
Why don't
That's
you
why I
vote in
didn't vote.
Hawaii?
Oh, well, because I don't give a crap about Hawaii politics.
Wow, bro.
Oh, wow.
I don't know enough to
Wow.
vote. I don't
Yeah,
do my
just
research.
vote
I
blue.
don't care. Vote blue.
Stick to the party lines.
Bro, red wave.
Dude,
Why
we've
would
got
I vote in a state that I'm like literally gonna
Because
dig
you
out?
live there.
I'm gonna leave there in
You
like
currently live there.
When are you leaving?
how many congressional districts
I don't
are there in Hawaii?
I don't know.
Wow.
What is a congressional district?
How many are there in Washington, Bo?
Can you phrase that as a
9.
question?
There are 9 congressional districts in Washington.
Does
Thanks
that
for
mean we
asking.
get 9 electoral votes?
No, we get 11 because of the 2 senators.
Probably
Oh
get
my
12.
gosh.
Dude, each senator gets
Do we
his
get
own
12
vote?
now?
I think so.
I might be not updated, but let's see. I just know that we are represented by Adam Smith of the 5th Congressional District, and I voted for him because I had no choice.
Yeah, there's apparently a record turnout so far for early voters this year in the midterm. It's like
Yeah.
30,
I saw-
30 million or something. In 4 years ago, it was about 20 million at this point. So people are actually.
What do you guys think the reason for that is? Trump?
I think I actually do. I think a lot more
Ener-
people
or
are getting interested in
energized
Is it is it because Trump is president and he like kind of persuaded people to do it, Tipo, or is it because Trump is president and people are so opposed to his presidency that everyone's in
it's-
opposition and in support of him are going to go vote?
It's both. People who don't usually vote, who are like, millennials, are super against him, so they go out to vote.
Mhm.
And then people who are super pissed off at the nonsense that's going on in politics, like, also come out to vote. When you get Kavanaugh, frickin' his name, put through the mud for no reason at all, without any evidence, just because for politics, then Republicans are pissed and are out voting too, because apparently a lot of those early voters.
I think in
most of them
general
are
people
Republicans.
are more aware of politics now, so they have a opinion and a very, I guess, devoted opinion. I don't know how else
But
to
you're not
phrase it.
speaking from experience.
No, but I know a lot of people from I've just seen the past 2 years, just from my coworkers alone, a lot of them that didn't care about politics, all of a sudden are interested in,
Yeah, 'cause
especially
the
those-
media
How
tells
is
us-
it-
especially the Democrats.
I have a question. How is it in your workspace? Like, is it majority Republican or majority Democrats?
It's very
It's
mixed.
a government
I guess
job.
Government jobs. So
mostly Democrat, but like their beliefs are mostly like Democrat, but they're very. It's not really like one versus the other now. A lot of it's mixed. They're like very torn between certain issues. Like
Really?
a lot of people.
I
in
would
my
assume
tower,
they're all like, "Oh my
pretty
gosh,
much-
we're getting taxed like crazy," and then they see the.
everybody in my tower is like pro gun, so like super pro gun, and but they're like more like pro choice also, and then they're they have like Democratic and Republican. I guess when you stereotype Democrat and Republican, but obviously we also have different beliefs. What are you guys' like or thoughts on guns? Like, would you want one in your house?
I have one in my house. Well, I did when Sergi lived there.
Would I
It
want one?
got confiscated by my father.
I will probably have one in my house when I have my own house. Yes,
Yeah.
and I will,
You
in my
have your own
opinion. Oh,
house.
this is actually a good topic.
I know. That's
What-
what I was thinking. I want one too.
If push came to shove, I would probably use it. I would restrict.
Wow, that is
but
very, very.
if-
If push came
No,
to shove,
I'm
I
just
will
saying-
probably.
No,
use
I
it.
know there's people that are really
He's really
opposed
trying to
like,
cover his butt from the pastor.
No, there's people that are really against it. There's people that are like, "Oh, we can't touch the guns. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're Christian."
There's
There's
a
the
gun
opposing
law
side.
on our ballot, like a super strict
Oh
gun
yeah, the
law.
assault rifles though, but I wouldn't want an assault rifle.
But it's not even. It.
Well,
Yes.
you wouldn't want an assault rifle, but what if it's a first step into banning guns? That's just
My
the
dad
first.
and I voted different on that one.
So we in Hawaii. I don't know how it is over here, but in Hawaii, to buy a pistol, you have to take like a 3-day course. You have to apply for a permit. You have to like jump through all these hoops. But to buy a rifle and like shotguns and stuff, you literally can walk in and just buy one. You don't have to do anything.
See, I don't know difference
It's
between
crazy.
guns, so I can't even comment. What's
A
a rifle?
rifle.
Pistol
You
is
don't-
one that you hold. It's a little tiny thing you hold in there.
Oh yeah, I've shot
him
those
down.
before.
And a rifle and a shotgun are the bigger ones.
I know what a shotgun is, but what's a rifle? Can you
It's just
define that
rifle-
further?
It's like just it's kind of like hunt, like the ones with scopes and stuff. Like that's,
Okay, but what
that's
about the semi-automatics? You're not talking
those
about
are like
those.
assault rifles, and you go to like semi-automatic. Those are still rifles.
I don't go
but
to. I go to my friends for those. Where do you guys go for those?
I'm not talking about assault rifle. I think there's different rules on assault, but just like regular like hunting rifles and stuff.
Okay,
like
so
that,
enough
there's
gun talk about the elections. What predictions? What's going to happen? Blue wave or red wave? What
gonna stay
what's
the
going
same.
to flip?
Hold
I
on,
think
hold on.
anything-
You never let David. What do you think about?
Well, he-
because we did 2 pro guns. One, I just want to see what you think.
Oh, they're pro gun. I mean, I think I would have one. It was just if you have like little kids and all that, that's what I'd be worried
Well,
about.
you lock it in a safe.
Well, the kid, you always hear stories about like some kid who has an accident and it's because his dad has a gun. It's not like the kid accessed a gun somehow. That's what
Yeah.
I'd be worried
You're
about.
such
But
a liberal.
I think I would have.
The only
Pistol
reason,
fear, but
look,
I wouldn't consider myself pro-gun though. It's not an issue I would die on a hill for.
no,
Same.
I mean me neither. But I think I would find I think I would like to have one in the house. Like I met a guy that is actually Ukrainian, and he's like, oh yeah, I have a concealed carry permit. I got a little pistol, and I take it to Craigslist meetings whenever they're like shady. And I was like, dude, that is like a really good idea. He just like has a gun on him. Like,
I
hey,
know
if
a guy
anything
that
goes
legit
down.
died, got stabbed from a Craigslist meeting selling an iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Portland?
Got stabbed. Yeah, a guy from
Yeah.
Portland got stabbed
Russian
in the
guy,
neck, was
yeah.
driving to the hospital, and didn't make it, and like slammed
I
into
saw
a
him.
tree. And
I
Yeah.
heard about that.
yeah,
Over an
crazy
iPhone.
story. But predictions on elections, what's going to happen?
Super
What's going to
easy.
happen in Washington, and what's going to happen across the country?
Oh man, this
Bo
is.
first.
I could talk about this all night.
Well,
though.
you have 1 minute.
Okay. Well, I
9:25.
think that that Republicans are going to gain at least 1 seat, or maybe 2, probably 2 seats in the Senate. So they're probably going to take North Dakota. They'll probably take or Arizona or Missouri, one of those 2. And so we're actually going to gain seats in the Senate, which is was unfathomable before the Kavanaugh thing happened, or at least it was very unlikely. So that's a big win. Probably going to lose the House by a few seats, but that's because voters are watch
You
too
think-
much CNN.
You think the House is going to flip to Democrats?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. I think it's on the closer side on that one, but yeah, because every freaking Republican district. I mean, if you look at the stats and whatever, all the Republican districts are questionable, and they'll have majority in the House, but they'll probably take some governorships, not enough to. So it'll be offset by the Senate. So if Ruth Bader Ginsburg decides to,
Okay,
No.
time up. Dave, do you have any
Um,
choice words?
I'm not very well educated on this topic, but I think it's going to stay the same. Like he said, they're going to gain a few seats in the Senate, but I don't think the House is going to flip.
really, that would be huge. That would
Yeah.
be, if we retain the House, that would be super huge news. Like that would be huge.
That would be crazy because 2 years of Trump and people.
Yeah.
That means people are sticking with.
Do you guys? I was watching the midterm, Obama's first midterms. He got shellacked so bad. They flipped the House, they flipped the
Yeah,
Senate,
yeah.
they flipped every governorship. Like it was so crazy.
I mean,
It was like
terrible.
they lost like 60 seats or something like that in the House. It was awful for him. But
Checks and balances? Or does that have nothing
I
to
just
do
want Dina Rossi to win, and then I want the Vancouver lady from us to win, and then I think Kathy McMorris Rogers will still be District 5 or what? No, District, I don't know, Spokane area.
A
All
little
right.
off topic. Do you guys have any thoughts of who is going to run for presidency for 2020? Like, do you have any thoughts like who would be a good candidate? Like, just thinking now, like,
Trump.
obviously
Kanye?
there's going to be. Kanye, no.
JK, kidding.
You know what I thought? You know what I was thinking? Michelle Obama would probably be a runner-up for the
candidate?
Democrats. Yeah.
And she'd win.
Would she be willing?
It's
I would-
untraditional, dude.
For the
The
lady?
politicians will not like that, so they probably won't let her through.
Why is that? Hillary Clinton was
oh yeah,
Well,
Hillary
yeah,
did
but
it.
she was a senator first. Bill got
Is-
her.
so Michelle
Is
Obama's
Michelle-
done a lot of stuff.
Is she
Not
in
political.
politics?
No,
Kind of.
No,
Not really.
she's never held elected office or.
I don't think she would want to. I'm pretty sure she.
Dude, if she
I
does,
doubt
my
she would
opinion,
want
I
to.
think she likes the place she's in. She does what she wants. She does whatever. Like,
Yeah, let her be a millionaire.
well, she's free to do as she wants it. She has a following. What else is she gonna?
Do you think Obama, since he's like really relative in like current events, even still, he would push for that? Like,
No,
sorry.
I think
relevant.
he'll
Be
be
the
just
first
as
man.
popular as he is.
I
and
think
No,
he's
he's.
gonna-
I'm saying that he's gonna like kind of push for it. Like,
I
hey,
think
for
he'll
her
start
to do it.
smoking.
For her to do it.
No,
Again.
I think
don't
he-
think.
I think
I
it's
don't think-
possible. I think if she were to run, she would win.
I think there's a lot of people who would win, but they're stupid enough to run Maxine Waters or one of these douchebags who.
You can't say that word on. It's one of the 7 words.
I think
Sorry, delay on the beep over there.
Obama, after being in office for 8 years, he knows how much it takes. He's not going to have his wife do it, and he'd be the first man, first lady, first man, and
First
just
man,
they
first dude.
swap roles. I don't see that happening.
I'd be gay.
Yeah. Okay, another topic in current events that we're going to cover. Wanted to discuss Idaho, the iPhone scammer family. There's a so those of you who do not know, I'll read a little bit, I'll
Make sure
kind
to
of
read the
brief.
entire thing.
It's long.
You're a
So there was an
fast
article that came out about a month ago. 25,000 victims, possible multi-million-dollar Idaho phone counterfeiting scheme. It's where a family, Slavic family, like a Tipa Christian, quote unquote Christian Slavic
They
family.
were pastors.
Well, they were pastors, but I
Wow.
mean,
Pastors.
look, they say they're Christian, but so what they were doing is buying counterfeit phones from Hong Kong in bulk and shipping them here to the United States, and they were reselling them on Amazon, eBay, and some other interweb websites. And there was a FBI investigation. There was a thorough investigation. Короче, point of the story is they raided their household. They not just one household, a couple of households, and they locked up a couple, not families, but parents and things like that. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I saw GoFundMe. It was similar to a
was like
GoFundMe. Sign a petition.
Yeah, change.
Petition to sign a petition because these families are getting persecuted for being Christians. And I read the article. Yeah, well, I read that article that was sent into our text, and they were legit. They did not talk about what they were doing. They
Yeah.
were just saying, we're being persecuted for being Christians. We're
Right.
trying to move out from the United States because we believe we're going to get persecuted in like 5-10 years. And they were trying to move out to Brazil where it's going to be better. So I look up an article about what happened, like a news article, and I find out that they bought multiple like multifamily properties in Brazil, like 4 of them, multifamily properties in Brazil with a bunch of units. Like they legit were laundering money through selling phones, and now they're trying to make the case that they're being persecuted for being Christians, which really kind of triggered.
What's
Like-
crazy about that is that that family is pretty well known. Like I told my mom the name and she knew it right away. Their senior pastor died like a few months ago. He was apparently indicted in that thing. He was going to be arrested if he was still alive. Then the current pastor was arrested. Like the whole family.
What's the last name?
Babichenko.
There's a couple last names:
the last
Pavel
name?
Babichenko, Gennady Babichenko. Well, I guess the majority is Babichenko.
Yeah.
Ukrainian.
It's
Vibikov.
about like over 200 members at that church. Apparently, the authorities went and they needed access to the safe that was in the church because they said the family was funneling money through the church in order to cover the scheme as well. So
My question is, did they know what they were doing was wrong?
Of course, they
of
knew.
course they do.
You think?
I mean, yeah. Of course. I mean, look,
Money
you-
clouds judgment.
you're buying crappy iPhones from Hong Kong and China. And you're
Yes.
repackaging them,
So
selling them for a
so
grand
would the sentence? They're supposed to be sentenced for life. Would it be justified
for life.
for
Wow.
life? Yeah,
If
for
it's-
a
if
couple.
it's-
I
I
think the 2 main families they're going to be put away for. I'll read on, but they're supposed to be put away for a pretty long time.
Think about how many people.
Don't quote
that
me
is,
on
though.
for life, but it's a really long time. Their children are basically going to be
Orphans.
What, their parents are gonna be locked up.
But think about how many people, 25,000 people.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
a multi-million
lot
dollar scheme.
Yeah.
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 Multi-million, so I'd 10, 15 years.
You
It
think?
wasn't. I don't,
10.
I'll
How much did Bernie Madoff do? Half of what he did. I'm kidding.
60 bill or whatever he did.
He died in prison, huh?
I don't know. Is he still
Didn't he kill himself? Didn't he
I
hang
don't
himself?
remember.
Man, where's
No,
where's
that's
Nazar?
his
Dave,
son
can you
hang-
look
hung
up
himself.
how long their sentence?
His son.
Supposed sentence.
I think
hung
the-
His
himself.
son hanged
whole-
himself out of like
Dave
his
will
son
get back
wasn't
to
in
us.
prison.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just hung himself because
Right.
So
he just was
that's
called guilty or whatever.
Vic, your segment, your time, or did you already cover everything
I
you
kind of
wanted?
covered some of my topics. I just had one more question about like your guys' thoughts on the military. Because growing up Ukrainian, we were always like kind of anti-military, you know, because our parents served in the.
Man, you're all about guns and
USSR.
military. You came
No,
back.
it's just that
You've changed.
No, it's just that I had a kind of like I thought about it, and we have a lot of veterans that a lot of my coworkers are veterans, and I asked them a question: if you were to go back, would you change going to the military? And all but one said, no, I wouldn't change it. And-
veterans, what kind of like Slavic or
No, they're all-
we talking
all
about our
Americans.
community, or are we talking about?
I'm just talking about our community, like what our thoughts are, because obviously, and me even now, I'm kind of anti-military too. Like,
Wait, what does that? What does that mean? Being anti-military?
Like, I don't think it's a good idea to go in the military. Like, I never thought it was a
I
good
thought
idea
you
for me
wanted
to
our
go.
military to lose.
So you.
It's not anti-military so far or so much as it's kind of like signing your life away, kind of. Not really like
Well, not
signing.
really. You can do it for 4 years. You can do 6. It's just people decide to stay longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so much more you could do in those 4 years.
Well,
especially
what if you
that's
want
like
to serve your country?
Yeah.
And that's another good question. Very few people go to serve their country. A lot of people go. All the people that I asked said they did it for selfish reasons because they were in either a bad position in their life. One of them had a kid. He was 19. He couldn't pull anything, so he needed a job. Couldn't find a job. Other one was like, he was like, oh yeah, I didn't know what to do with my life. I was just sitting around smoking weed and doing nothing all day, you know.
But isn't that a
And so I
good thing
went
that there's like an outlet for those type of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for
Yeah,
certain
they could
people.
go
but
smoke on
for-
the base.
Okay, let's say this.
I think it's a good thing for certain people. Let me kind of clarify this. I think it's a good thing for certain people, but I think our Ukrainian and like Slavic community has made it so like what Ukrainian or Russian or Slavic person do you know that went to the military? I know
of
two.
two.
Yeah, I know two.
I would.
don't know
I,
any.
I think that it would be good for me if I'd gone.
I
Legit,
think, I
legit.
think it would be good. I like, in my opinion, I like the fact when Soviet Union required their people, their guys, to go for 2 years. I think it would serve every dude.
I'm
like,
sure-
it would serve them greatly to go to the army because they get taught discipline. But in regards to like, see here, if you go to the military, they're not going to force you to shoot to pick up some guns or whatnot. You can choose a different path. Like you don't necessarily have. I think, I don't know for sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't necessarily have to like go into combat. You can do other things.
So the funny thing
But-
is the guys that saw the most violence are the ones that are the most anti. So the one guy, I work with him like pretty much every single day.
What is he
And-
anti?
He's like he's saying basically I don't know what I would have done if I went back and knew what I do now. It did good for my life. It put me where I am today, but I think just because of what I saw, like I saw he worked as an air traffic controller obviously in the military, but he saw planes crash, he saw people die, he saw like a lot of like violent stuff. And then the people that didn't see that, they're like this one guy is a satellite technician or whatever. He wants all his kids to go to the military. He's like, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever. Like, yeah, obviously it's the best thing ever for you because all you did was like just kind of stay far away from everything, from all the violence and stuff like
there's
that.
there's not two medians. There's two
Extremes.
extremes. That guy and there's the other one that no. Like you see a lot in our community, in our more conservative community, where it's like no, it's a sin, it's wrong, it's bad.
It's not.
But-
it's not. It's a sin. It's because
Well-
of their experiences in.
Well, the
Soviet
thing,
Union.
a lot of them think it is a sin still. They don't.
I
They
think
don't
that
have an understanding that like
It's a
if-
sin
if
because they don't want to
someone-
kill, like basically do not murder. They don't want their kid to be going around killing people. But now you have a choice of where you
They
want to
don't
go.
even. I guess that's. I'm sure if I told if one of our brothers told my mom he has a real gun, she would go lose it. She would like cry.
Really?
But that's how our community is, because
I
they
don't
were
think my
raised in
mom
that kind of
cried.
culture where they think it's very wrong. But what grinds my gears is like, if it's not, say, the person that's going to serve, who the heck is going to protect that country? Like if say these guys are going to the military, they're going to go serve, they're going to go kill these guys. Do they have no opportunity of being saved? Like if they're protecting you because you're praising Jesus at church, you have a comfortable lifestyle. Why is this guy going to hell for protecting you?
So that's another question as well. What are we doing in Afghanistan protecting against
Well,
what?
see, that's where you give Caesar's what Caesar.
Like,
That's another part where that's not your problem.
When the
You do
war
your
comes
part.
to war, when people are attacking you, yeah, that's one thing. But going into certain countries and I guess
See,
trying to get
that's
them,
things you can't control. Like you paying your taxes, you're funding
that's
Planned
why
Parenthood.
that's
You
why
can't
people are
control that.
anti it, because in the USSR, what are they doing? The same thing that Russia is now, provocating a bunch of other countries going into where they shouldn't
a good
be.
topic.
And now the soldiers are what? Supposed to follow orders just because they're soldiers? What if you were in their shoes? Oh, pro-military, you don't have to kill anybody. Now you're serving, now you're carrying out a command that is totally against your beliefs,
If
totally
you-
against
yeah,
what you
if
believe.
you are-
Thinking.
If you don't agree with the foreign policy of your country, you don't have to serve it. Especially here in America, it's like no one's forced to go into the military. There
Yeah,
might be a
but they're-
draft if there's
they're-
actually a massive war, but nobody's being forced to go into the military.
Yeah, but
right
let's
now.
say you're in the military and they send you somewhere where you don't want to be. What choice do you have? You can't. You either go honor or what is it? Honorable discharge or
Honor
whatever.
discharge.
No, it's not. It's the opposite.
Dishonorable.
Dishonorable discharge.
Man, I could be you guys a word guy.
Yeah. But
Shoot, that's a good question. What I would do is just follow orders and then deal with the repercussions and mental illnesses later,
that's
which
what
is
I-
pretty much what all the other
Someone's going to
soldiers
have
do.
to have the mental illness, either the whole entire country or a number of people that go to war.
So the guy that I work
No,
with that
but
saw the
literally, that's
freaky
what it
stuff,
is.
that saw like people die and stuff like that, he's kind of like, I can see in him that he's shell shocked.
How
Some
many people do
PTSD.
you know that didn't
Yeah.
go or didn't do anything and they're still kind of cuckoo?
No, he's not cuckoo. He's shell shocked. Like he's straight up like he is scared of like he's very very like he stopped watching the news because he's like, dude, it like scares me. He's like super what is it?
I wish people
Paranoid?
more
Paranoid.
people did that.
He's super paranoid. He's
Is this the guy
very,
that
very
smoked a bunch
cautious.
of weed?
Yes, before
Huh.
he went to, but he was a regular guy back then.
Dude, what's crazy about that? I
He
recently
doesn't watch the news anymore because he's like, dude, it scares me.
Eminem
Like
said, "I'm
North
just a
Korea
regular
declaring
guy."
war on us or shooting missiles at us is like,
I've been watching a lot of like D-Day stuff recently, and they said that the majority of like the 500,000 people that stormed the beaches were 18, 19-year-olds,
yeah.
which is like my age. So I'm thinking, dude,
You're 18, 19?
I'm 20, but like they were 18 to
You're only 20?
22.
That's what
Yeah.
military dudes are.
That,
Like,
no,
they're
I mean they were. Well, a lot of them were
That's
drafted.
nuts.
A
That's
lot
like
of them enlisted by
kids.
themselves.
Oh my gosh.
That's
yeah,
insane.
think about that.
Children.
Like a whole generation, kind of.
Very good topic. Thanks, Vic, for
I-
bringing it up. We're gonna
No, but,
circle. Do you have one more?
No, I was just gonna say that's exactly what I would do if I were in that situation. I would
I
deal
think-
with, I would do it, and then I would deal with the social repercussions, which there would be some. I know I'd go crazy, and I know I'd think it's unfair, and it would ruin my life. But if I was already signed up, I'd probably do what I was told, and then. So
That's,
don't sign up, kids. Look for career alternatives.
Sign up.
unless you get drafted.
Sign up if you,
I just think
if you
that-
have nothing to do.
I'm curious about what our older generation thinks of it now, knowing more about how our government and military a little bit, I guess. More about
Bro,
how-
we're
In
just
our-
catching up to their knowledge. It's not like they know something new. Like everybody, like you know
no,
what
but
I mean.
they
Like,
have certain preconceived notions of like how the military is supposed to be. They don't know how the maybe they do now, but like they didn't know how the military worked back then, and that's why it was such a negative thing. I think it's becoming more and more accepted as normal. Like, for example, would you let your kids go to the military? Like, if your kid was like, "No, I want to go serve," would you let your kid to the military?
I would, but my dad would too. I remember I talked to him 5 years ago, and he was like, "If you really wanted to and you decided to do it, I would be fine with it." I would discourage you, but I'd be okay with it because
That's
like,
exactly
someone
what
has
my
to do
position
it.
is.
I think our church is pretty not contemporary. It's like we're an educated church. We have understanding. Like they discourage you to do it, but I don't think our pastor or our leadership. I don't think our pastor or leadership would say excommunicate or put someone on Zamitka because he decided to go be a police officer or he decided to go to the army and serve. I think they're really understanding.
There's a
with
guy
that.
I know
in
he'd
our
have
church.
heck of pressure from some of our.
It's in the army.
Or who?
This Ukrainian guy. I saw him. He started coming to youth recently. I'm pretty sure he's in the military or was in the military.
What branch?
I'm not sure, but first name's Mark. I don't know his last name.
Wait, say again.
What is
Yeah,
he? What branch?
is he in the military?
Yeah, he like goes work. I don't know what branch exactly, but he goes like training there like every Saturday or whatever.
Oh, he's in the guard. Then.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, he's in the guard. He's whatever branch.
okay,
guard.
enough
'Cause
for
guard
this
only works
topic,
weekends.
guys. Thanks again, Vic, for the third time for the topic discussion.
What's
If
next?
our listeners have any other requests of topics to be discussed, follow our Twitter page, Cup of Joe Podcast on Twitter, and you can tweet
I'm not even
or
following Cup
direct
of Joe.
message a
should
recommendations
follow
on
them.
what we should
I'm
talk
gonna
about
follow
here on the
them right now.
podcast,
Can I
or who we should have as guest speaker.
Can I ask Vic a question since he's here from Hawaii? He's a guest.
Go
From
ahead.
Kauai?
Hawaii.
Oh, sorry. I thought you
It's,
said
what was
Kauai.
it?
it's
Like, bro.
Hawaii.
What was it like? Because a few months ago you guys got a missile alert, like a legit missile alert. What was it
That
like?
was like January, and there's
Yeah.
actually it's funny because you see cars with sticker with a little bumper stickers that I survived the missile attack of January 13th, 2018.
what was it like? You get that alert. Were you at work and
I was actually at work, and my brother and sister-in-law.
Vic, where do you work? Tell
I
everyone
work
where you
at
What do you do for a
Hilo
living?
Airport in the air traffic control tower.
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
the guy with the
government
flags on the strip,
The cones.
the cones on the strip.
Yeah.
No, tell
I
us
waved
what
them
what
once.
exactly
no,
you do.
So I speak to mostly in our airport helicopters and also
You're in the
airliners,
tower.
cargo. Yeah.
Can you?
He's
all
in the tower
Speak to
at
the
the
pilots
airport.
directly.
Ooh, can
he
you
has a
speak?
headset and he
Can
talks
you
to
speak
pilots.
like that? Okay, I'm a pilot. Hey Vic, I'm lost. Where do I go?
I wouldn't respond to somebody.
I can't see nothing.
back to the
it's
missile?
Oh,
kind
via
of-
far.
Back to the
What?
missile.
Where
What was it
are
like?
y'all?
Guys, let's not get sidetracked.
So my brother and sister-in-law were in town. They just flew in like 2 days ago. And I was working that morning. I forgot what time it was. I think it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, Hawaii time. But I worked an early shift, and then everybody's phone goes off except mine because I had the emergency alerts off. And
Nice.
Our
'Cause I was just
government air
getting-
traffic controller has emergency alerts
I was just
off.
getting annoyed of all the, like the flash flood warnings, dude. There's like flash flood warnings every other week, and it was just annoying. Like you're trying to put your baby to sleep, and it's like meh, meh, flash flood. Like I know I'm inside, like I'm good. I'm on the 3rd floor,
That's funny.
and so I had it off, and there's 3 guys in my tower that were like, "Hey, well, is this for real?" And so we kind of like stopped and just looked at everybody. We were just kind of like shocked. And then pilots started coming on like, "Hey, my passengers are for the two helicopters. Hey, our passengers are getting some kind of ballistic missile alert because it was like ballistic missile
Fudge.
alert inbound. Seek shelter immediately." That
And
was
this was like around the time Kim Jong Un and
I was acting.
Donald
That was
Trump.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
Rocket Man had their little thing.
Little Rocket Man.
That's so funny.
One of the best nicknames.
Yeah.
Second only to Pocahontas.
Yeah.
I still love the beautiful Ted now.
That was-
That was so funny.
Lion Ted.
Lying Ted, he's no longer lying Ted, he's beautiful Ted. That was hilarious.
And what?
So
Did you
everybody was
jump
kind
on
of
that
standing
plane?
around shook. The pilots are calling up. They're like, "What's up?" And we don't know. We don't know what's going on. So we're calling our overlying center that takes care of like basically the state's airspace, and we're trying to figure out because that's where all the big wigs are. That's where all like the main guys, like the district managers and all that, get all their information and go straight to headquarters. And so we're calling them. We're trying to find out. They're like, "We don't know what's going on. We'll call you as soon as we find out." And it took about 45 minutes for the text message to come in that was a error, and it took us about 20 minutes to find out that it was a false alarm. So for those 20 minutes, I was still working position. I was working tower, which is 5 miles and up to 2,500 feet. And I'm talking to the helicopters. I'm like, we don't know what's going on. Like, but you should probably come inbound, land, and just kind of chill. But everybody's kind of like, okay, we're gonna turn around. We're gonna tell all our companies. So everybody's flying back in. The planes are turning around. Like everybody's flying back. Like anybody that's close to our airport is flying in and trying to land, get down and dig out. You know.
Was this for all the islands or just?
This is for everybody on the Hawaii
Okay.
throughout all the islands.
What does a ballistic missile do when do you
Blow things up.
Like
Yeah.
how many things?
Go ballistic.
I mean, it just depends on
Okay.
how much
It was ICBM, right?
material is radioactive material and stuff like that is in there. Anyways, so I got lucky enough that it was my turn for a break. So, which
Okay, I'm gonna
happens
stop
pretty
you
often.
here. I'm gonna go use the restroom. All right.
In other news, no sir. In other news, what do we have to talk about?
I think we're done.
No, we have more. Come on.
No, I really want my.
We need to have a good segment. This is our only time to shine.
Okay. Talk about let's talk about UGPC.
UFGPC. Yes.
Service.
Oh yeah.
More people
Our
came out
first
than
baptism at LCC.
That was sick.
That was
I think all our baptisms should be like that.
yeah. I mean,
Man.
the first one I think it was kind of like there's something that we can improve on. It was like a few awkward silences, you know, but it was our first one and it was cool to see that. And like the stage got wet and everything, we can fix, like, you know, put
Yeah, we do
whatever.
like a slip and slide or something.
Yeah. Slide. Yes, have a little fun there.
Yo,
Oh,
commercial
I
breaks
guess
over.
our guys are back. So we're gonna have to go follow me on Instagram at David.
Is there any more tea?
Oh, beautiful
you can text
for
Joe,
Text Mark,
spacious
Prokhor.
skies. Oh,
text him?
amber waves of grain.
I would really love to.
America, America, God send His
USA?
thee and crown thy good with brotherhood.
let's go.
From
Guys.
sea to shining sea.
Okay, hey,
Thank you guys.
count it down and then have him
It was
continue a
lovely.
story.
He has to continue. I thought he was done. You're not done.
No, I'm not done. I'm not even close to
He's not
being
even. He just started.
Okay.
I just started.
Count on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bada bing, bada boom. So we're back in the room, and commercial break is over. That was our very own David Derkach singing one of his songs. Follow him on his YouTube and on his Instagram. He does a lot of covers.
He has
Vic.
an Instagram.
Back to your story.
All right, so where was I? Early in the morning. I don't even think it was 8 o'clock. I think it was earlier than 8. I think it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, because Anna was still sleeping, and the kids were still sleeping, and
Kid.
everybody home was sleeping.
Kid.
Kid.
Oh, that's
You
right.
had one.
It wasn't
No,
just
me
one
wasn't
back then.
born yet.
Know me.
So we get the alert. Pilots are coming back. I get a break like a couple minutes into it. I'm maybe like 5 minutes after the ballistic missile alert. So still nobody's going on, and I'm like trying to find out too. And then we're trying to reach the manager. The manager's not picking up. Our facility manager. He finally calls us back like literally 3 minutes after my break, and he says, basically, I still don't know what's wrong. But everybody stay away from the windows, which is like windows on every floor, and the top is like full of windows. Go hide somewhere and stay away from go as low as you can, stay away from the windows. Cool, thanks, bro. And so, oh no, he said minimum staffing, everyone go downstairs, stay away from windows. So we cut out basically as much people as we could. Now there was only 2 people up at the tower. And
What were they like when they were told they had to stay? They were the ones that had to stay up at the top of the tower.
Ooh, big deal.
uh,
It's like
everybody was kind
put
of
on a
freaked out.
helmet. We're falling from like a 500-foot tower.
I think at
Everyone-
that point, it's,
It's
like
not 500
everyone's
feet. It's
going
only
to die.
80 feet, 90
No,
feet.
it's not the point. The
Yeah.
point is, if there's a ballistic missile, no matter where you are in
Yeah,
that
you're
tower, you're
kinda
gone.
screwed.
Yeah, it's a very,
I'd rather see it coming.
and it's an old tower too, so it's like doesn't instill confidence.
Yo, did you repent? Like, did you have those moments?
No, you know what?
I know I would.
I didn't get scared. I didn't get scared until I called my wife.
Oh,
That's when I got scared.
She scared you?
No, so I was trying to call. So I got on break. I go on the news. Can't find anything on the news. Call my wife. She's not picking up because it's still early in the morning. So I call my brother-in-law. He doesn't pick up the first time. I call him again. He picks up. I'm like, hey, I'm at work right now. I just got this ballistic missile alert, and I don't know what's going on, but go like in the closet or something and hide and don't be anywhere close. Like basically, don't go anywhere because I don't even know like.
Were they over at your house, your brother?
Yeah, they were both over. So I was like, basically, go wake Anna and the kids or the kid up, go hide in like the closet or something, and just kind of chill there until I find out what's going on. And he was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, go wake her up, and
did
then
he say which closet?
we only have one walk-in closet, but cool.
Okay, thanks for clearing that.
Really important detail.
Yeah, super important detail.
So we didn't get there to that second closet.
So then my wife calls me back and she's like, hey, what's going on? You called me. What's going on? Like, well, why are you like, what's going on? Basically, ballistic missile alert. What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, all we know is this emergency alert came in and it says basically
That's crazy.
seek shelter. But then we get the call back and it's a false alarm. And then everybody's like, dude, are you kidding me? And so we're telling everybody, like pilots one by one, and then they're like, oh, is this for real, like a false alarm? And we're like, yeah, it is. So they're like not doing anything for a little bit, and then everybody else gets the text, and then it's like kind of, it was crazy.
I'm just disappointed in you that you didn't have an altar call in the tower
Yeah,
when you
dude.
were there giving your name. Really disappointed. No, I'm kidding. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, and yeah, well, I don't know
But, like, what do
we
you
would
do?
in your shoes.
I know what I would
That's
do.
couldn't
all
even
you can
think-
do. You just call your fam, say hi, and I love you, and I don't know what the heck's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
That's yeah.
But
I
that's,
didn't.
That's
There's
crazy.
no like word of like I don't even. I feel
hang
like
on.
our apartment was the safest place to be.
Roman, who would be the first person you called?
If
Ooh,
I'm
let's
gonna
play
die,
this game.
Yeah, it's a fun game. No, you don't have to add anything. You got a ballistic missile coming. Who are you gonna call?
I don't know, my mom or Alona. Probably my mom. No, Alona.
You
My mom or
freaking
Alona?
liar.
All
I know who you
Snapchat.
call.
No, I'd.
Who do you think you
Who
would
would
call?
I call?
Chacha Rosa. No doubt. He'd probably
For this.
cry.
I don't know what to understand right now.
Well, I'm not. I wasn't trying to get. Get.
I don't
that
know
out
who I
of
would
you.
call.
Be super easy.
Probably call my dad. 'Cause he's like the most level-headed guy I know. He'd just be like,
I mean, I'd be level-headed, but it'd be like at that point in time, I'd probably be just going like down a list, like, well, if I
for
die,
Johnny,
here I go.
Matt.
Yeah, hey, I don't know what the heck is gonna happen.
Okay, what if you knew it
Here
was
I
a
am.
sure death? Who would you call then first?
oh,
For sure, my dad at that
Simonovic.
point. Simonovic. What have you got
Pray.
to confess?
So there's this
Somebody's got
lady.
some demons in his closet.
Skeletons.
That was Dave Glav. If you guys know
that was
that. Hey guys, thanks Vic. Thanks for the story. Glad you're alive. Glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm alive too.
Yeah, I'm glad your fam's alive and everyone. So back to our podcast. We still have a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but
We're not. Never left.
back to the script. NFL. We got some football to talk about. So this is
Ooh, let's go.
where all the people that are not sportsy, you can tune out. And thank you for joining for this week. Hope you had a good time.
We didn't talk about U of GPC.
We-
We didn't
we are
talk
running
about
low on
baptism.
time.
We didn't talk
We're
about.
at 50 minutes right now.
People want to hear about the
We're
water
50
baptism at our
minutes
church.
plus. We started
Oh, I
9:10 earlier than 9:10. Yeah, we do. NFL. What do we got to talk about? Hawks. How was
Let's
the
go through our
game?
predictions or no?
Yeah, I guess
Let's go
when
through the
Victor's not here,
predictions.
we don't talk about church.
Let's go through predictions.
Yes. All right. Well, at this point, I'm 6-3. Roman's 6-3. Bo is 3-6, and Victor's
Nice.
5-4.
Nice.
So we got to pick next week's games.
Let's pick them on air right now.
Yeah.
Okay, which are the three that we're gonna
I'll
pick?
pick for Victor.
First one.
Okay.
First one. Panthers at Pittsburgh.
I'm
When?
going. Ooh, that's a
Panthers
tough
at
one.
Pittsburgh.
Thursday night.
What are the records?
I think they're pretty much the
6
same.
and 2 and 5 and 2 and 1 or something. I think they're pretty similar.
I think if
I'll
Le'Veon
look it up.
If Le'Veon comes back
if
Why
Le'Veon
does it
doesn't call
matter?
back, if Le'Veon comes
In the
back,
next
I
3
pick
days.
Carolina.
If Le'Veon comes back, you pick Carolina?
Yeah.
That's a good bet.
But-
Pittsburgh 5-2-1 and Carolina Panthers 6-2.
I
I'm-
take
That's a
Shotgun.
tough one.
I'm taking Panthers.
Who's at home?
Pittsburgh.
I'm going Pitt.
I think I'm going Pittsburgh too.
Panthers.
Carolina. I got to make up ground here. But I don't want to lose
Who's Vic
any.
gonna
So
take?
Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. So David's the only Carolina.
Yes.
Who's Vic taking?
I don't know.
Torch. Bo, choose.
Oh, for Victor?
Yeah, go.
He's a big Cam Newton fan.
Okay. Next game. New Orleans at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's coming off their bye. So they
Nola.
have time to prepare.
Nola, baby. I'm going Nola.
I'm going
Even though
Nola.
they're coming off their high horse,
No, that's not.
but they are a good team.
Who they lose to? What's their one loss?
And Marvin Lewis is Marvin Lewis.
True. Yeah,
and
Cincinnati
they got no AJ Green for a couple of weeks.
Really? He's
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
He's out. So for sure, New
That means
Orleans.
Rube is
Actually, I'm taking New Orleans too.
Rube is going to score some points with Boyd.
David.
I'll take New Orleans.
Hot take.
I think Victor takes New Orleans.
And then Monday Night Football will do. New York Giants at San Francisco.
Wait. Where's New Orleans playing?
At Cincinnati.
I'm going Frisco.
I'm going Giants because I got Barkley.
Mullins is the real deal. I'm putting in $99 on waiver wire.
Nick
for him.
Mullins.
If you had. Wait, okay, but who you think?
Ruby's going to put in $1.
Why can't you do fun games that matter?
Dude, this next weekend's games actually are not that good.
Why don't you do a Seahawks game every week at least?
Do you want to do Seahawks versus Rams?
Oh, that's an easy one for
Yeah,
me to
isn't
do.
it?
At Rams?
Yeah.
That sucks that they just lost. They're going to come and whoop us.
Yeah.
Oh, who you taking?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll put that down.
Hang on. I don't even know who the teams are
New York at San Francisco. New York Giants.
at San Francisco on
Yes.
Monday night. San Francisco.
Okay.
They
They are
They
both
just
garbage.
destroyed the
New
Raiders,
quarterback.
but it's the Raiders.
They're
I
both
know.
garbage.
I think record-wise, I think Niners are better, actually.
Yeah.
Niners
They'll
won
take
2.
double
I
the
think
wins.
Giants just won 1
all
game.
right.
David.
I'm taking the Niners.
Okay. I got a
Sorry.
little fantasy thing to talk about.
I'm actually gonna change my pick to Bengals.
Ooh. What'd you just read?
Who did
AJ
you...
Green is gonna be out, and they're not gonna have what is it called? Saints aren't gonna have a script to watch on the new wide receiver that's gonna be playing.
Tyler
Wow.
So that's how
John Ross,
that's how it
Tyler Boyd.
happens. That's how it
Yeah.
happens.
No.
I
Nobody
watched
will
them get
have
destroyed
any-
by the Chiefs.
John
So
Ross is
I
gonna
mean,
go
but
off
there
on
is
the
a
bench.
possibility that the Saints will win, obviously. But you're welcome, guys.
My Drew Brees throw for a touchdown. What says you?
go ahead, Bo.
So-
what were you gonna say?
Fantasy? Let's go fantasy. Bo, you have a segment? Go ahead.
I was going to talk about something. You know how we are always like drafting sometimes, like before every season?
Uh-huh.
And we're always like drafting, and we start out going for running backs. But then some people like take quarterbacks in the 5th round,
Mm-hmm.
and some people start taking defenses in like the 7th and 8th.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid, right?
Sure.
No.
Yes, it is.
Well, what I did today was I went through all the positions. So let's say I got quarterback here from number 1 quarterback points per game to number 13 quarterback points per game. So you've got the top 12 quarterbacks, and I've looked up the difference of points per game in those quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback with 27.1 on average. Number 12 quarterback gets 19.8. Number 13, so this is going 2nd round, was Tom Brady with 18.6. So that's a difference of 8.5 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
That 8.5 out of 27 is about 31%. But when you go running back and you go starting running back through 24, so the number one running back goes Gurley, 26.1. Number 25 running back points per game averages 9.1.
Yep.
That's a
crazy.
17
That is
point
insane.
swing.
What about number 1 through 13? Do you have that?
Yeah, I do. Number 13 is Joe Mixon with 11.6. So that's cutting your points in half, dudes.
It's a
This is why you
15-point gap.
That's a 14.5 points. That's why you got to draft your running backs.
Which is
Like
why
people take receivers. Receivers don't matter. You got to have those running backs, which is why you, David, are winning, and why those of us who didn't have running backs are slacking.
Yeah, which is why Arthur should have never traded. He had Kareem Hunt and Alvin Kamara. He had the same exact caliber backs as I had. He should have kept them. And then, Ruvum has good backs now. The people who don't have good running backs, I don't know what they're going to do in the draft.
What they're going to do in the draft?
Yeah, because who's
Oh,
going
right,
to
exactly.
be available?
Well,
No,
who knows? Maybe Vadim will drop Christian McCaffrey again.
maybe it's
Vadim
Saquon.
has, I think.
No,
He
Vadim dropped him.
I'm just
Oh.
saying, someone might drop a good running back, or someone might drop a mediocre running back that's gonna be really good next
Well,
year.
who
You
were
don't
the
know.
best available? It was McCaffrey. Who
Joe-
else? Joe
Joe
Mixon was
Mixon.
available.
McKinnon, but he
Well,
blew
no
his
one
ACL.
knew Mixon was gonna be going off.
Yes,
Yes,
well,
he was ranked pretty highly.
So why
He
didn't you
was.
guys draft him?
Because he
we
was drafted like 14th.
No, he was not.
He was drafted
I
before Drake.
drafted McKinnon instead
He was drafted before
because
Drake.
McKinnon was in a good offense at that time, and he had both
I
knees
had Mixon
working.
last year, and I was really debating on keeping him, and I should have, but it's whatever.
Right.
Well,
So there will be players available. I mean, looking at this list, James White was available. Adrian Peterson was available there in the top 12.
Yeah, but James
Tariq
White
Cohen
is
was
a different. I
available.
would say I'm in case that James White's a different story because they don't have or
This-
didn't have. They
okay,
They
but
didn't have a number one back for like the first 4 weeks. I would say.
is Tariq
Rex
Cohen
was
a
injured.
different story? Is T.J. Yeldon a different? There's going to be
Tariq is
running
too.
backs. Philip Lindsay, waiver wire. But anyway, yeah, the point is you got to draft your running backs because when you're drafting receivers and you look at your receivers, the receiver gap from number 1 to 24 is 16 points to 9.4 points. That's only 6.6 point drop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
That's
I
a
was thinking too.
41%, whereas that 6.6 is 41% of the number. I don't know why I did this, but it's a
It's good.
versus 17. You got to draft your.
You still have to draft well.
Dude, but look at
yeah. I mean, stats don't lie.
if you look
you're right.
if you look at my team though, if you look at my receivers, they're terrible.
You don't have
Straight
any
up.
depth, but you have backs.
Exactly. And I'm the number one scoring team or whatever. And then this week I started Cortland Sutton and Humphreys as my wide receivers, and I still won somehow. It's just because my running backs
Didn't
are
Humphreys get you like 20
Well, yeah,
something
he did.
points?
And OJ Howard.
OJ Howard's a good tight end.
Hey Dave, remember when I told you should start
Turning-
OJ Howard?
Turning up
Kind
a
of.
good.
I did start him.
Good.
Got me.
Tight end, for instance, number 1 tight end gets 11 points per game. Number 13 tight end gets 5.2. So that's a 6-point swing. That's
There you go.
53%.
So how do you guys grade the trade that happened between me, Tim, and Ruvum? Where Tim got James Conner and Nick Chubb. Ruvum got
I think Tim won that trade.
I think Tim gets his team turned around, but who knows? Because
Thing
Le'Veon
is he
Bell's
lost.
tweet.
That's
I
the
think
thing.
Tim won that trade because even if Bell comes back, I don't think he stays with Pitt. I think they're going to release. Whatever's going to happen. I don't think Bell's going to stay. I think Connor's going to be the back there because he's cheap and he's producing just as good numbers. So he's going to bring the numbers next year. And he has an additional. He has a better option now than Barkley, and he has another one in Chubb, who's a number 1 back in Cleveland.
He has a better.
Bro,
He has
you
a better.
you
one.
got you won that deal obviously long term. This year probably I don't know if you've upgraded your team this year, but it's pretty much level. Who else did you get in that deal?
I just got Barkley and Allen Robinson.
Yeah, who cares about Allen Robinson, but
Yeah.
Barkley was a pretty good pickup.
Well, now I think we'll see how it goes. Tim was really trying to get into the playoffs with that trade because Barkley was on a bye.
Yeah.
James Conner wasn't, and then he still lost this week. So it kind of sucks for him.
What about Ruve? He got Kenyon Drake.
And Amari Cooper.
I,
Cooper actually had a
and he
TD
had
game.
to give up Chubb and Allen Robinson.
Well, Allen Robinson for Cooper. he
that's a
won.
wash. To me, that's a wash.
No, he won that, I think.
Guys, personal stuff. Top 2 waiver wire
That's not
pickups.
Allen
It
Robinson
is.
versus Amari Cooper.
Huh?
Allen Robinson versus Amari Cooper. It's not personal.
Who would
Everybody.
you rather have? Well, we're
Yeah.
talking about personal teams.
Oh, okay. Well, Allen Robinson versus Amari Cooper. Who would you rather have? I'd definitely have Cooper.
I'd rather not have any of them.
As of right now,
Yeah.
probably Coop because he's going to be the number 1
Yeah.
for
Coop
sure.
because
why.
he scored a touchdown this week.
Yes.
If
And
Allen Robinson scores one next week, but
But
he won't because he's injured.
But both of those guys, I think they're canceled out. They're same tier because
Crazy.
Cowboys' offense right now is trash.
Who'd you give up?
But
James Conner and Kenyon Drake and Amari Cooper.
You gave up a lot.
I did, but I gave up because Kenyon Drake was riding my bench the whole year. James Conner has the potential of splitting carries with Le'Veon Bell, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll get a 20.
Yeah, you've done it again, David. That's a good. Yo, anybody want to guess who the number 4 quarterback in fantasy is?
Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it is.
It's crazy. He started off horribly.
it's Matt Nagy,
That guy's
Matt
good, man.
Nagy.
product of Matt Nagy. Another Jeff Goff situation, Jared Goff situation where coach takes quarterback, grooms him, and produces
I got
numbers.
him too.
Hey, I think that will just about wrap it up for this week and our podcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening.
God bless.
Subscribe to the up-and-coming
America.
app we will have released, and give us suggestions, call us, text us, follow us on Twitter. Thanks,
Do you
Vic,
guys
for
really have a
showing
Twitter
up.
page?
Yeah, bro, follow us.
We have 6 followers.
Vic,
Zero.
thanks
Can we
for
talk
showing
about our
up.
followers?
Sorry Vic couldn't make it. Sorry Roof couldn't be here. We will catch you guys next week on Cup of Joe.
Got to go.
Piss off, Lou.
End it?
How you doing?
Dude, what are you talking about fixing the baptism?
Dude,
We'll talk about it next
at
week.
an hour.
We'll talk about it next week. No, it matters.
What baptism?
No,
Nobody wants to listen
We had
to
a
it.
baptism. We had a baptism at our church on Saturday.
We'll talk about it
How
next
was
week because UFGPC was there
It
too.
was dope.
And Tacoma service was dope. We could have.
Why haven't you guys tweeted anything?
Huh?
Because Vic runs that.
You need to tweet something.
Victor.
You need somebody that
Because
actually.
afraid
tweets
he
something.
might tweet something controversial.
Well, that's you need to put somebody that actually wants to.
I think Dave
make
Glapp
controversial
should.
things.
He's good at running social medias.
Yeah.
I'm good at telling people how to run social media.
Who runs it?
You guys need to make.
Stick missile alert.
That's how we do it.
No.
I don't know why.
Why?
I'm sorry. Oh, it might be theme or something, actually. I don't know. How did Vic do it? He ran the Life Youth Twitter for a long time.
XDT Floyd to sue Dr. Andrews for 180 million.
Speaking
Well,
of
I wasn't-
Floyd,
I
do you guys
listened
see
to the podcast.
Floyd is gonna fight MMA in Japan? Yeah. He's an idiot.
Is it played?
Fine, he's gonna get paid.
He's gonna get probably. I mean, I don't know what the rule set is, but he's probably gonna get smacked. Oh, Mark asked what you wanted.
Wait, he's gonna do MMA?
Huh?
Any kind of tea.
He's gonna do MMA?
The
Yeah.
blacker the better.
Probably some limited rules though.
How do I listen to this?
Oh, just save it. Did you save it?
I don't know.
No, I did not.
Click save, please. Vic, go to file. Can you go to file and click save?
I'll delete.
And just click save. Yes, sir.
How do I listen to the whole podcast at once?
Oh, just listen.
Reuven will send it
I'll
out.
go back. Come on. Yeah, we'll send it out, but
You can just listen to each voice separately. And
It
then
just started bowling.
I'm just gonna go.
Dave, put your phone in, make a nice little trip out of it.